Hola clase, hoy vamos a aprender cómo decir la hora. Today we're going to learn how to tell time in Spanish. For this lesson, you need to know the numbers. So be sure to know the numbers. We learned them. We didn't learn them all the way to 60. I posted a PDF for you to learn the numbers, okay? You only need to know them all the way to 60. 59 actually. Today we're going to learn how to use the verb ser for telling time. If you remember from the last video, the verb ser was used for different things such as identity, nationality, ownership, and then telling time and date. So today we're going to be learning about how to use it to tell time. So if somebody asks, ¿Qué hora es? This means, what time is it? ¿Qué hora es? And you should memorize this question. ¿Qué hora es? I can have two potential answers. Es la una. So if it's 1, whether it be 1 p.m. or 1 a.m., it's always going to be es la una. It is 1. Why? Because there's only 1 hour, right? Es la una. Now, anything other than 1, so if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, anything other than 1, I'm going to use son. Son las dos. So it's not, it is 2 literally. This would be translated to they are 2, plural. Okay? So go ahead and answer the question that you have in front of you now. Alright. Now, this is going to be vocabulary that is useful and you should know. De la tarde means in the afternoon. So if I say ¿Qué hora es? And let's say that it's 2 p.m., I could say son las 2 de la tarde. That means it's 2 p.m. or it's 2 in the afternoon. Let's say that it was 10 in the morning. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10 de la mañana. Let's say that it was 8 p.m. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8 de la noche. Now, let's say that it was 12 noon. I could say, son las 12 del mediodía. Or if it was midnight, ¿qué hora es? Son las 12 de la medianoche. So those are really good words to know in order to express time. Alright, but it's not always going to be like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. on the clock. What if it's 1:05? The way you do that is by following this little formula. Son las, and then you put the hours and the minutes. Unless, of course, it's 1 p.m., in which case it would be es la, and then the time and the minutes. Example. Let's take a look at the first one. In English, this would translate to saying, they are 10 and 5, like this. Son las 10:05. Son las 10:05. How about this one? Remember this number? 8 and then 10. Son las 8:10. How about this one? Son las 6:20. Now, if you wanted to say, let's say that it was 1:10, then in that case it wouldn't be son las, it would be es, okay? If it was 1:10, I would say es la 1:10. Alright? Now, what if it's a quarter past the hour, or what if it's 30 minutes past the hour? If it's a quarter past the hour, I would say son las 7:15, which is what we learned in the last slide. However, I could also say son las 7:15, which means and a quarter of the hour. Now, VHL wants you to use this one. So if VHL homework shows you something like this with 15, you should write down son las 7:15. If you write this, the first one, son las 7:15, it's technically correct, but VHL will take this answer, just so you know. How about this one? This is 30 minutes past the hour, which means half an hour after 5. So I could say son las 5:30, or I could say son las 5:30. It's 5:30, so half of the hour. Now you try it. Okay, so now we've learned how to tell the time all the way to half past the hour. What about after that? If it's after that, then we're gonna use this little formula. We're always going to say what's the next hour, and then we're gonna subtract from that the portion of the time that still needs to go. For example, 8:45. 8 is the hour. What is that close to? What's the next hour? 9, correct? So we're gonna say son las 9, and then it's 45. So we're not quite at 9 yet. How long do we have to go? How many minutes do we have to go until it's 9 a.m.? 15 minutes, correct? So it's 9 minus 15 minutes. 15 minutes, as you know, is a quarter of the hour. So therefore, son las 9 menos cuarto. Okay, let's take a look at this next example. 5:40. That means that it's approaching what time? What's the next hour? After 5 comes 6. So we're going to say son las 6 menos, and then how long do I still need to go? How many minutes until it becomes 6? 20. So therefore I would say son las 6 menos 20. 6 minus 20. Okay, so to recap, the question that we learned how to ask is ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? And then we know that we need to answer with ¿Es la una? If it's 1. It could be ¿Es la 1:10? ¿Es la 1:15? And so on. Or son las. If it's anything else, son las 2, son las 3, etc. There's another type of question about time that we could ask, and it is asking what time an event is. And in that case, I wouldn't say ¿Qué hora? I would say ¿A qué hora? Okay? At what time is the fiesta or the celebration? ¿A qué hora es la fiesta? Or what about class time? ¿A qué hora es la clase? Okay? It's very important that you remember this "a" when you're asking about an event time. And the way you answer is going to be different as well. We would say la fiesta es a las 7. La fiesta es a las 7. ¿A qué hora es la clase? Es a las 10:30. It doesn't matter that it's 10 or 7. We're talking about one event, so therefore we're using es. Es. Okay? And in this case, in the second one, I could have also said la clase es a las 10:30. So to summarize, there's 2 questions that we know how to ask about telling time. One of them is what time it is. ¿Qué hora es? And the answers could be either son las 7, son las 8, son las 9, and so on, or es la 1. The only time we say es la is if it's 1 p.m. The other one that we know how to ask is ¿A qué hora es? So at what time is a certain event. ¿A qué hora es la clase? Don't forget this a. ¿A qué hora es la clase? And then in that case, la clase es a las 10. Because now we're talking about one event. Es a las 10. We're no longer saying son or es. We're referring to the event. And in this case, es. Because one class. And that wraps it up for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.